9 Lies About Work, A Freethinking Leader's Guide to the Real World, by Marcus Buckingham and Ashley Goodall. Introduction. Imagine this for a moment. You've just landed a job at your dream company. For months, you've done your homework. You scoured their website, you read articles, you even tracked down current employees on LinkedIn to get the inside scoop. You prepared for every interview question, and you asked your own smart questions in return. Finally, after all that work, you get the offer. You've made it. You walk in on your first day, thrilled. But then, something feels off. Your new manager seems a bit severe, a little hierarchical. You brush it off, thinking it's just her game face for the outside world. But by day 13, you know the truth. In a meeting, you answer a simple question from a senior executive, and your manager pulls you aside afterward, her voice cold. "We don't share that sort of thing with senior people here," she says. "Next time, run it by me." In that single moment, the dream dies. By day 15, you've already written in your calendar a possible last day, 2 years from now. This is a true story. A story of a woman named Lisa. And her experience reveals a profound, and often painful, truth about the world of work. The very things we are told to care about, the company's brand, its mission statement, its cool office perks, often have very little to do with our actual, day-to-day happiness and success. The modern workplace is filled with ideas like this. Ideas that sound good, that are repeated in boardrooms and business books, that are treated as settled truths. But when you look closely, when you really examine them against the messy reality of human nature, you discover they are little more than well-intentioned fictions. As Mark Twain is often quoted as saying, "It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so." In their groundbreaking book, 9 Lies About Work, researchers Marcus Buckingham and Ashley Goodall take a sledgehammer to these flawed truths. They combine decades of data from organizations like Gallup and Cisco with a deep understanding of what it's actually like to lead a team in the real world. They aren't just presenting theories, they are revealing what the best leaders and the highest performing teams actually do. And it is often the complete opposite of what we've been told. This isn't just another business book. It's a freethinker's guide to reality. It's a promise that if you listen closely, you will learn to see the world of work not as it's supposed to be, but as it really is. And in that clarity, you will find the power to not only build extraordinary teams, but to find more joy, more meaning, and more success in your own work. So, let's begin our journey by dismantling the very first, and perhaps the biggest, lie of them all. Book summary. The story of Lisa, the woman who decided to leave her dream job just 15 days in, begs a simple question. What went wrong? She had done everything right. She researched the company. She grilled the interviewers. She thought she knew what she was getting into. But she made one critical mistake. A mistake we all make. She thought she was joining a company. In reality, she was joining a team. This brings us to the first foundational lie that Buckingham and Goodall expose. Lie 1. People care which company they work for. On the surface, this sounds true. We wear our company's logo on a t-shirt. We feel a sense of pride when our company is praised in the news. We look at lists of the best companies to work for, with their shiny perks like on-site childcare and gourmet cafeterias, and we think, that's where I want to be. These things are the company's cultural plumage, like the bright feathers of a peacock, designed to attract us. But once you're inside, your reality shrinks. It shrinks to the 2-foot level of your daily interactions. Your world isn't defined by the CEO's vision or the solar panels on the roof. It's defined by the people you eat lunch with, the colleagues you huddle with to solve a problem, and most importantly, the team leader you report to every day. The author's research is incredibly clear on this. When they surveyed thousands of teams at companies like Cisco, they found that a person's experience of work varied more within the same company than it did between different companies. You could have one team at Google that is creative, trusting, and highly engaged, and right down the hall, another team that is miserable, micromanaged, and counting the days until they can leave. They both work for the same company, but they live in entirely different worlds. The truth is, while you might care which company you join, What determines how long you stay and how well you perform is which team you're on. Your team is the sun, the moon, and the stars of your experience at work. It is the single most important factor, and everything else is secondary. This simple truth changes everything. It tells us that the most important role in any company isn't the CEO, it's the team leader. And if you are, or want to be, a leader, it tells you that your people's experience is not in the hands of some far-off executive, but squarely within your control. So, if building a great team is the most important thing, how do the best leaders do it? This is where we run into two more lies, two ideas that sound like the very essence of good management, but in practice, do more harm than good. Lie 2. The best plan wins. And lie 3. The best companies cascade goals. Think of a movie like Ocean's 11. George Clooney has a perfect, intricate plan. Every person has a specific role. Every step is choreographed, and the thrill is watching it all unfold like clockwork. In the world of work, we are taught to be like George Clooney. We create strategic plans, 90-day plans, departmental plans, all in an attempt to control the future and make sure everyone is marching in lockstep. The problem? The real world isn't a movie. As General Stanley McChrystal discovered when leading the fight against Al-Qaeda in Iraq, the world today moves too fast for any plan. By the time you've gathered all the information, analyzed it, and created your beautiful, detailed plan, the world has already changed. Your plan is obsolete the moment it's printed. Planning doesn't tell you where to go. It just tells you where you were a little while ago. Cascading goals are just another part of this same flawed system. The idea is that senior leaders set goals, which are then broken down and passed down the chain until every employee has a set of goals that align with the top. This is supposed to stimulate performance and allow the company to track progress. But the research and our own experience tell a different story. For top performers, a goal often acts as a ceiling, not a motivator. Once they hit their sales quota, they stop selling and save their deals for the next year. For others, imposed goals feel like coercion, breeding fear, and, in the worst cases, leading to unethical behavior, like the fake account scandal at Wells Fargo. And the idea of tracking your progress as a percent complete is an illusion. You are either done with a goal, or you are not. You can't be 50% of the way through running a marathon. You either finished or you didn't. So, if the best leaders don't rely on plans and cascaded goals, what do they do instead? They replace plans with intelligence, and they replace goals with meaning. The authors point to the Battle of Britain in 1940. The Royal Air Force was vastly outnumbered by the German Luftwaffe. Their plan of flying constant patrols was failing. What saved them wasn't a better plan. It was a better intelligence system. They built a network of radar stations and observers that fed real-time information into a central war room. This system didn't tell pilots what to do. It showed them, in real time, what was happening, so they could use their own judgment to make the best decisions. The best leaders today do the same. They don't hoard information to create a master plan. They liberate it. They trust that their people are wise, and that if they are given accurate, real-time data about the world, they will make smart choices. This is why the best leaders have frequent check-ins with their people. Not once a month, but once a week. These short conversations aren't about status updates. They are about sharing intelligence. They are built around two simple questions. What are your priorities this week? And how can I help? It's a real-time sense-making ritual that keeps the team agile and coordinated. And instead of cascading goals, the best companies cascade meaning. They understand that people don't need to be told what to do. They want to be told why. When you give people a clear sense of purpose, a mission they believe in, they will be smart enough and motivated enough to set their own goals to get there. This alignment emerges naturally. It doesn't need to be coerced. Think of Chick-fil-A. Their founder, Truett Cathy, didn't just want to sell chicken. His mission was to build leaders in local communities. That's why, to this day, a franchisee is only allowed to own one restaurant. This cascades meaning. It tells everyone that what matters most is staying close to your team and your community. The system is designed around the why, and the what follows. This brings us to the core of the book, to the very nature of the people who make up our teams. Because if our job as leaders is to get the best from each person, we first have to understand who they are. And this is where the world of work gets it profoundly wrong, with a series of lies that push against our basic human nature. It starts with lie 4. The best people are well-rounded. Our entire corporate world is built on this idea. We have competency models that define the ideal employee with a long list of attributes: strategic thinking, business acumen, customer focus. We are then rated against this model, and our development areas are identified as the places where we fall short. The goal is to plug our gaps, fix our flaws, and become as similar to this perfect, well-rounded ideal as possible. But excellence in the real world doesn't look like that. Excellence is idiosyncratic. It's spiky. Think of the soccer player Lionel Messi. He is arguably the greatest player of all time. But if you watch him play, you will notice something bizarre. He does almost everything with only one foot, his left. Of the 19 times he might touch the ball on a run to the goal, 17 will be with his left foot. He is not a well-rounded player. He is a deeply, wonderfully lopsided player. He has taken his natural gift and honed it to such an extreme degree that it has become an unfair advantage. The same is true in every field. The best people are not well-rounded. They are sharp. They have understood their unique strengths and cultivated them with intelligence and discipline. The truth is, uniqueness is a feature, not a bug. And your greatest contribution, your fastest growth, and your deepest joy will be found not in fixing your weaknesses, but in honing your spikes. This leads directly to the next falsehood. Lie 5. People need feedback. This one feels like heresy to question. We're told constantly that millennials crave feedback, that candid, corrective feedback is the key to growth. We have 360-degree reviews and always-on feedback apps, all designed to hold a mirror up to our performance and show us our flaws. But the authors make a crucial distinction. What people crave isn't feedback, it's attention. And not just any attention. Neurological science shows that when we receive criticism or negative feedback, our brain's fight or flight system lights up. It shuts down access to other parts of the brain and inhibits learning. It literally makes us dumber. Positive attention, on the other hand, attention focused on our strengths, our dreams, and what's working for us, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system. This system stimulates the growth of new neurons, makes us more open, more creative, and more insightful. We learn most, not when we are pushed out of our comfort zone, but when we are deep within it, because that's our strength zone. The research is staggering. Positive attention is 30 times more powerful than negative attention in creating high performance on a team. The legendary Dallas Cowboys coach Tom Landry understood this. Instead of showing his players films of their mistakes, he created highlight reels for each player, showing them only their winning plays. He wanted them to see, over and over, what excellence looked like for them, so they could recognize it, recreate it, and refine it. This doesn't mean we should ignore mistakes. It means that correcting a mistake only prevents failure. It doesn't create excellence. Excellence is a separate creation, and it is born from an obsession with what is working. But if we can't trust feedback, how can we possibly measure performance? This question leads us to another lie that underpins our entire talent management system. Lie 6. People can reliably rate other people. Every year, in a meeting you are not invited to, your manager and other leaders gather to discuss you. They place you in a 9-box grid, give you a performance rating on a scale of 1 to 5, and make decisions about your pay, your promotion, and your future. You hope that this system is fair, that the data is accurate, and that the truth of who you are is being represented in that room. The devastating truth is that it is not. Decades of research have shown that when we rate others on abstract qualities like strategic thinking or performance, our ratings are a fiction. More than half of your performance rating has nothing to do with you. It is a reflection of your rater's own biases, their personal definition of the terms, and their unique rating patterns. This is called the idiosyncratic rater effect. Our rating systems are not windows through which we see others. They are mirrors in which we see only ourselves. Adding more raters, as in a 360-degree review, doesn't solve the problem. It just adds more noise. Bad data plus more bad data never equals good data. So, is all measurement hopeless? No. While we are horribly unreliable raters of others, we are reliable raters of our own experiences and intentions. You can't reliably rate my performance, but you can reliably answer the question, do I turn to this person when I need extraordinary results? You can't rate my potential, but you can reliably answer, would I promote this person today if I could? These questions don't pretend to capture the objective truth of me. They humbly and reliably capture the subjective truth of your reaction to me. And that, it turns out, is a much more useful and honest form of data. This insight helps us dismantle the next lie, which is all about our future. Lie 7. People have potential. Potential is treated like a magical, inherent quality that some people have and others don't. We label people as high potentials or hypos, and we give them special opportunities, while others are branded as low pass and are overlooked. The authors argue this is not only deeply immoral, but also nonsensical. There is no evidence for a generic quality called potential that allows someone to succeed in any setting. The story of Elon Musk proves this point. Early in his career, investors in his first company decided he lacked the potential to be a CEO and demoted him. His next company was confused by him. They saw his spikiness, his obsessive drive, and his messy style, and they concluded he didn't fit the mold. They saw no potential, and they missed out on one of the most transformative entrepreneurs of our time. The truth is, everyone has the capacity to learn and grow, but we each do so in different ways, at different speeds, and in different directions. A much more useful concept is not potential, but momentum. Momentum is your mass combined with your velocity. Your mass is who you are, your unique traits, your passions, what you love. Your velocity is where you are going, your performance, your skills, your accomplishments to date. Unlike potential, which is a fixed label, momentum is dynamic and within your control. You can't change whether you are a hippo, but you can absolutely change your momentum. The conversation shifts from "do you have what it takes?" to "given who you are and where you're going, what's the next best step for you?" It's a conversation that honors your uniqueness and empowers you to own your future. As we begin to see the individual not as a collection of flaws to be fixed, but as a unique person with momentum, we can finally address the biggest myth about our lives as a whole. Lie 8. Work-life balance matters most. We are taught to see our lives as a scale, with work on one side and life on the other. Work is seen as bad, a drain, a stressor. Life is seen as good, a source of restoration. The goal is to keep the two in balance, to prevent the bad from overwhelming the good. But this is a defensive and ultimately unwinnable game. No one ever truly achieves perfect balance. It's a Sisyphean struggle, constantly trying to triage the competing demands on our time. The authors propose a radical reframing. The struggle isn't between work and life. It's between love and loathe. In every part of your one life, there are activities that invigorate you and activities that deplete you. There are things that feel like strengths, that make you feel strong. And there are things that feel like weaknesses, that drain you, even if you're good at them. The authors call the things you love your red threads. The secret to a thriving life isn't balance, it's weaving more of your red threads into the fabric of your work. The goal isn't to do what you love, which can feel like an impossible luxury. It's to find the love in what you do, which is a skill anyone can practice. The authors suggest a simple exercise. For 1 week, carry a notepad and draw a line down the middle. Label one side loved it and the other loathed it. Whenever you do an activity that makes you feel strong, energized, and in flow, write it down on the loved it side. Whenever you do something that drains you and makes you procrastinate, write it on the loathed it side. At the end of the week, you'll have a clear picture of your red threads. Your challenge is not to eliminate everything you loathe. That's unrealistic. Your challenge is to figure out how to do a little more of what you love next week. Research from the Mayo Clinic found that physicians who spent just 20% of their time on activities they loved had dramatically lower rates of burnout. A little love goes a very long way. This brings us to the final and most profound lie, the one that governs how we think about power, influence, and impact in the world. Lie 9. Leadership is a thing. There are more than 60,000 books on Amazon about leadership. They all try to define it, to break it down into a set of universal qualities: vision, strategy, authenticity, charisma. The assumption is that leadership is a thing that lives inside certain people, and if you want to be a leader, you must acquire these traits. But if you look at the great leaders of history, this model falls apart. For every essential leadership quality, you can find a great leader who lacked it. If leadership is vision, what about Warren Buffett, who quietly analyzes companies in Omaha? If it's about perfect ethics, what about Steve Jobs parking in handicapped spots? The idea of a well-rounded leader is a myth. The authors argue that we have been looking in the wrong place. Leadership is not a set of traits inside a leader. It is an experience inside a follower. A leader is simply someone who has followers. So the right question isn't what do all leaders have in common? The right question is, why do we follow? We don't follow well-roundedness. We follow spikes. We follow people who are really, truly, exceptionally good at something that matters to us. We follow mastery. We are all fundamentally anxious about the uncertain future. When we see someone with a pronounced strength, a deep spike of ability, it gives us something to hook onto. It gives us confidence. It makes the future feel a little less scary. We followed Martin Luther King Jr., not because he was a perfect, well-rounded man, but because he was a master crucible maker. He had an extraordinary ability to bring issues to a head, to create intensity and focus until, out of the white heat, something new was born. That was his spike. It was what gave people the confidence to follow him across the Edmund Pettus Bridge and into an unknown future. Your challenge as a leader is not to acquire a list of generic competencies. It is to discover your own spikes, your own unique way of being, and to hone them so intensely that you give the people around you that precious, essential gift: certainty. Commentary. As we step back from these 9 lies, a single, powerful theme emerges. The modern world of work, in its quest for simplicity, for control, and for scalability, has tried to sand down the glorious, messy, and spiky edges of our humanity. It has created systems, competency models, performance ratings, cascaded goals, that treat people as interchangeable parts in a machine. It asks us to conform to a model, to fix our flaws, and to leave our true selves at home. What Marcus Buckingham and Ashley Goodall have given us in 9 Lies About Work is a powerful and data-driven argument for rebellion. It's a rebellion against the tyranny of the average, and a celebration of the individual. The book's central message is that the path to excellence, for both individuals and organizations, is not to erase our uniqueness, but to harness it. The most powerful lesson, for me, is the shift in perspective from fixing what's wrong to building on what's right. We live in a culture that is obsessed with deficits. We look for the 1-star review. We focus on the test question we got wrong. We replay our mistakes in our minds. This book gives us permission, backed by science, to do the opposite, to become connoisseurs of our own strengths, to hunt for our red threads, and to understand that our greatest room for growth is in the areas where we are already strong. This isn't a soft or idealistic notion. It is the very essence of pragmatism. The fastest way to build a high-performing team is not to try to turn every team member into a well-rounded clone, but to figure out how to combine their unique spikes to create a well-rounded whole. The most effective way to lead is not to mimic some idealized leadership model, but to understand your own spikes and how they can provide certainty and confidence to others. If there is one simple action you can take away from this summary today, let it be the loved it, loathed it exercise. Take 1 week, just one, and pay attention. Pay attention to the moments that light you up and the moments that shut you down. This simple act of self-awareness is the first step toward reclaiming your work and making it an expression of who you truly are. It is the first step toward turning a job into a joy. That was a summary of 9 Lies About Work by Marcus Buckingham and Ashley Goodall. We've certainly covered a lot of ground today, but I hope you feel, as I do, that this is just the beginning of a conversation. A summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. It can show you the landmarks, but it can never replace the experience of actually walking the terrain yourself. The real power of this book is in the stories, the data, and the quiet moments of reflection it provides. If anything we've discussed has sparked your curiosity or challenged a long-held belief, I wholeheartedly encourage you to pick up a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning new management techniques, it's about rediscovering a more human, and ultimately more effective, way to work. The link to the book is in the description below. And, of course, if you found this journey valuable, please take a moment to click that like button and subscribe to Billionaire's Bookshelf. Each week, we dive into another book that has the power to change the way you think, work, and live. Your support helps us continue this mission. Let's keep learning and growing together.